I'm actually surprised this keep going. I thought there were only that last one would have been the final broadcast. The rest of your shift passes in a blur with the same words going around and around in your head. Operatives working for advanced detonated nuclear explosives. Initial estimates put the death toll into the millions. Did this really just happen? You pull into the driveway with no memory of the journey home. The light in the front of the room is on. Clearly someone else is still awake. The door creaks open into the living room and you find Sam sitting on the sofa staring at the TV. The screen is off and they're clearly lost in thought. You take a seat beside them and put a reassuring hand on their shoulder. They don't look at you, but they do reach up and take your hand in theirs. Now you're closer. You can see the tears flowing freely down Sam's face. Our little girl. I don't know what to do. What the hell can we do? The bastards killed Susie and millions of others. All because of their fucking war, which we never asked for. Behind the tears, you see a fire, raw fury you've never seen in Sam before. I hate them, Alex. I know you've always supported Advance, but after this, they're monsters. I need to know you understand that we're not going to help them anymore. Advance did what was necessary. Fuck that. Yeah, nothing can justify what the hell just happened. Relief spreads over Sam's face like a wave, and they collapse against you, clutching tightly. Clearly, this was weighing heavily on them. You're not sure you've even processed it fully yet, but at least you'll get through it together. The last week passed in a blur, a rush of things to do, but all immediately forgotten, your memory clouded by a dark fog. 9 days since the so-called Liberation Night and the beginning of Advance's new future. You weren't the first ones at the church that day. You were staggered by the number of people who have come to mourn with you. Everyone here for the same reason, sharing the same pain, the same sense of loss. It's written all over their faces, much as it would be on yours. You step away from everyone else, needing space to gather your thoughts. Your daughter, poor little Susie, gone. Sam has said little since that evening. They're still getting over the shock. But when you walk over and squeeze their hand, they squeeze back tightly. You get through this together. You can only imagine how awful it would be to face this alone. There hadn't even been a coffin to bury. Jesus Christ. We're starting to get rich, folks. It's a seemingly ordinary morning, but as you get into work, you find a small crowd gathered in the break room. When you go in to grab your first cup of tea of the day, you can't help but overhear some excited chatter. You didn't hear. Yeah, another one's gone missing. What's that bring the total up to now? I should think over 100 at this point. They won't all have been reported or noticed yet. Sorry, what's going on? An excited young woman turns to you and begins to explain. Another professor went missing from Queensview University with all the other disappearances over the last month. Scientists, doctors, researchers. She pauses before lowering her voice to a whisper. It's clearly Disrupt targeting the people speaking out against them. I even heard Advanced are struggling to prevent further. A deep, familiar voice behind you interrupts. What exactly is going on here? A silence overtakes the room as you all turn in unison towards the doorway. Bozeman clears his throat before continuing. I told you before, I don't want to hear about these so-called disappearances. Come on now, people. Advance has been very clear that there's nothing to worry about. No, wait. That was right the first time. Advance have been very clear that they're nothing to worry about. Yeah, of course they're saying. They're like, I'm not going to hurt you. Of course they're saying that. Which means they're not our problem, and unless they start classing cappuccinos as intellectual, I don't think anyone here has anything to worry about. But best get back to work. Bozeman holds up his hand and keep you as everyone else files out of the room. Look, between you and me, this leave it alone malarkey comes from on high. It's out of my hands, so I would appreciate it if you would refrain from talking about it further, and make sure the news is in line with the school of thought. Yes? He gives you a pat on the arm and a smile before leaving to carry on with whatever he does during the workday. It seems that for better or for worse, public ownership is now in full swing. You drum your fingers on the steering wheel impatiently as you wait for Charlie again. It's great he's enjoying the cohesion cadets. Holy shit, that sounds disturbing. And is so enthusiastic, but does he really need to stay behind every week to help? It's your Saturday evening too, after all. Finally see him exit the hall, a grin on his face. You can't help but smile back, the frustration starting to fade as you see him so genuinely happy. After hugging his friend goodbye, Charlie heads over to the car and gets in, his face flushed with excitement. So how was your interrupted as he can't contain himself any longer? Guess what? Alright, Charlie, calm down, tell me, what is it? So, obviously the Cohesion Cadets is a starting point for becoming a CCO, so we get a head start when applying for that. Charlie gushes, clearly keen on explaining his news, almost tripping over the words in an effort to tell you. Well, apparently from next year, the top 5% of cadets will be taken into a special program to become CCMs, Community Cohesion Managers. And guess who's going to be in it? He beams at you. I see. And what exactly do these Community Cohesion Managers do? Oh, well, basically they need a new liaison team between regular people, the CCOs, and the Betterment Department. And that'll be us. People come to us with concerns, and we'll decide whether they need referrals, and if so, to which department. Cool, right? Yeah, exactly. So this is you. You're the guy people report their neighbors and friends to. Oh yeah, this is wonderful. Well, yeah, I guess, but only bad people. Oh yeah. And who are the bad people? The ones who go against the party? It's only the bad people. It's about helping the community, making it safer for everyone. Charlie frowns at you. You don't like the CCOs or the betterment teams? I'm just worried about having that them having that much power, turning people against each other. You're starting to sound like the people the advance are trying to help. They're trying to help them by what, a bullet to the head? Charlie looks at you, a serious expression on his face. Don't worry, I'll make sure that everyone gets the support they need. This is going... Jesus Christ, this is creepy. This is a good thing for the community, and the team will be able to help everyone. He nods to himself and sits back in his seat. The mood in the car is somewhat icy for the rest of the journey home. You hope it's not a sign of where this... you hope it's not a sign of where things are going. You're surprised to find Sam in bed next to you when you wake up. They must have gotten in very late last night from drinks with the folks from school. You decide to let them sleep in and enjoy a lazy Sunday morning. With the house quiet, you decide to bring some breakfast into the living room to watch some TV while you eat. This is breaking news. Reports are coming from across the country that large swaths of farmland went up in flames last night as part of what authorities are calling a heinous and well-planned act of terrorism by the group known as Disrupt. You drop your spoon back into the porridge and turn up the volume. In addition to food stores, which government sources have said will put a strain on the universal menu centers countrywide, a number of CCO and civilian buildings were targeted in last night's attack. According to the Prime Minister Julia Salisbury, specific prisons and re-education, holy hell, and betterment facilities were raided, and a small selection of problematic and potentially dangerous individuals were forcibly extracted from lawful custody. You hold your breath, waiting to hear if anyone got hurt. Unfortunately, it appears that the CCOs were ill-prepared for an event like this. The Disrupt seemed much more effective and well-organized in comparison. While most of the targeted locations were thankfully empty of people, given the lateness of the hours, the betterment centers were fully staffed when they came under attack. 17 CCOs and 4 administrative staff lost their lives as a result of the brutal actions of Disrupt last night, with countless more injured, many seriously, and rushed to the hospital. A few Disrupt members were captured during the conflicts, but the vast majority seem to have evaded capture so far. More on this story as it develops. You're interrupted by Charlie walking into the living room bleary-eyed and with a piece of toast. Anything interesting going on? He gestures to the TV. Mutely, you leave the news on as they cycle through the story again. Charlie watches in a hushed silence. By the end of the broadcast, they're dubbing it the Night of Fire. Everything's going to be okay, right? I hope so.
Receiving. Calling. Come in, Alex. This is Alan James. The revolution starts tonight, Alex, and we need your help. Throughout this broadcast, we're going to ask you to do things that will directly help with this mass protest. I'll be talking to you regularly tonight, and I'll also be hacking you when I can. Please help get our message out. We're on the verge, Alex. You've always been fair and balanced in your approach to us. With your help, we can tip the balance in our favor. If you play our tape at the second break, that's when we think it will have the most impact. It's on your right.
Yeah, clearly I'm helping him out.
Cuz, I don't want to go on a date with your cousin, Colin.
What have you got to lose?
My dignity, my reputation.
It's all right once you get past the teeth and the problematic tattoo.
I am perfectly capable
What?
of messing up my own love life.
How is it problematic?
David wouldn't get off the phone.
Oh, it's David single.
For Christ's sake, Colin, stay out of it.
I can help you. I'm an expert at romance. Ask my ex-wives.
With your brother. That's 10 seconds, everybody. You're not as tight, babe.
Too short?
Too smart. Going in 5, 4, 3.
Good evening. This is the National Nightly News, broadcasting across the territories. My name is Megan Wolfe. Our top stories tonight. Ashes to ashes. It's been 40 days since Disrupt conducted attacks across the territories. The coordinated action, dubbed the Night of Fire by commentators, was seen as an attempt to subvert the supply chain, but there may have been more to it. After a roadside IED toppled the convoy, prisoners, including Portia Hamilton Mann,
Like John Hamm, the guy from Mad Men.
were freed and have subsequently vanished.
That John Hamm?
MPs are presumed to have fled the territories.
Trying to remember if I got his name right.
Good riddance.
Either way, that's who that looks like to me.
Food, glorious food. With the last of the menu centres opening in territories 5, 8 and 14 today, Advance confirmed that the programme is now in full operation, providing free food for every citizen of the new future. What started as rationing during the 20-week war has blossomed into a social contract that is the envy of the unawakened world. Jack Tractor Pants, spokesman
Tractor Pants.
While they can guarantee the contents of every box is nutritious.
Anyone hear the unawakened world and kind of shuddered a little bit?
Have a touch of Chef Jordan Rankley or the culinary skills of a professional footballer. If I were a rich man, problems in territories 11, 17 and 22 today as striking bosses attempted to undermine their new economies. With seemingly no awareness of irony, the former CEOs and MDs have come together to form the Wealth Creators Union, with demands including a return to 150% bonuses, private jets and mandatory grovelling zones. In an annoying show of petulance, the former elites drove their luxury vehicles at 10 miles per hour up and down the motorways of their respective territories. The coordinated protest of elites inconvenienced several 100,000.
Of the concept of groveling zones.
Some fun now. Signs of ever more resistance to Advance's radical policies today, as popular resistance movement Disrupt extended their reach further across the territories. The organisation's emblem appeared in every major city across the territories last night.
Oh, you know which one we're picking.
Publicity stunt, which has seen them dominate the headlines. While it's beyond debate that Disrupt's membership is growing at a rapid pace, not everyone seems to be as energetic about it as spokesperson Alan James would have us believe. Especially not this resident of Grottingberg Zoo in Territory 6, who seems remarkably unenthused about global politics.
I want to know,
And
do
finally,
pandas get in trees like that?
stories we've been following closely for the last 2.5 years. Foreign soil, a glimpse today of failed CEO Sophia Remington, who, facing serious criminal charges centred around the details of her pet project, has spent the last year in refuge at the Malvalian Embassy here in the capital. With no end in sight to her
Her giving the finger.
the board of Remington's Fist removed her as CEO in absentia this morning by a unanimous vote. Sophia was heard to yell something obscene in Malvalian at the assembled journalists before slinking back inside. We didn't catch all of it, but it was something about our mother and a goat. It's just a body. A picture received today has shed some light on the activities of the academics that were left behind in Dante's taint. The image seems
Never
to
get
show
over that one either.
the simple scientists were sidelined from salvation. They've eschewed scholarly study in favour of physical intimacy. Their abandoned families insist that they're carrying out complex biological investigations, while this anchor points out that the scientists, they were always bound to experiment. Johnstown, seen here extolling the virtues of the nutmeg to his congregation of fanatics, former footballer Johnny Hamsleeves has shocked the world by rebranding himself as the Right Reverend Holy John Love. The controversial preacher insists his followers make an annual pilgrimage to his bank from their commune in the grounds of his mansion, where daily services mainly involve football chants and ball worship. All that plus...
Now, when you say ball worship...
...for the notice board, as well as getting a sneak peek at the hottest ticket in town. That's all coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
People of the territories, today is the day we take back control. Soon it will be time for you to help us again. Come out of your houses, block the traffic, bring the capital to a standstill. I've met so many of you in my travels up and down Territory 1. You always ask the same question. How can I help? Well, this is how. And as for when, you'll know. Keep watching.
But first, 500 days after the loss of a fine leader and a great man, the start of tonight's programme is dedicated to remembering and celebrating the life of Peter Clement. Patrick Bannon is live from Parliament Park, where Julia Salisbury will be breaking ground on what will soon be a memorial garden in Peter's honour. Patrick.
Listening to that old bitch lying through her teeth about missing that poor bastard.
Patrick.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
We're live.
Because I'm not being funny. Things were better with Peter, weren't they?
Patrick.
They were, and I don't mind saying it. They were, because he held her back. But now there's no stopping her.
Hello, Patrick, we're
Of
live.
course, can't say that, can I, Francis? No, not with public ownership. No, with public ownership, you can't say anything these days. She's lost it, mate. She's completely off the rocker. I heard from an aide that... Hello, Megan, you join me here live from the what? Megan, you join me here live from the what? Oh.
I've been fired.
Seems for a moment. Well, we will be going live to that groundbreaking ceremony just as soon as we can get Patrick.
I think he got fired.
Meanwhile, let me just
Or
say,
killed.
I think the memorial gardens are going to be gorgeous. I've had a sneak peek at the designs, and Alana Marsh has done a fabulous job. Oh, okay, all right. It seems like we have got the signal back. We can now go live to Patrick Bannon in Parliament Park. Patrick.
Thank you, Megan. I'm Patrick Bannon. And
Of course you are.
live here. Apologies for the technical difficulties there, but any moment now, Julia Salisbury will step out on stage behind me.
Alex, Bozeman here. The boys in editing have just informed me that the eulogy footage isn't fully cut together yet. You're going to have to do it on the fly. For goodness sake, make sure you make it look good.
Slowly gathering.
Oh, goody.
This is Alan. You can undermine them here and help us win hearts and minds. Make him look bad, Alex. Really bad.
Oh,
And it seems like the ceremony is getting underway.
I'm excited.
Prime Minister Julia Salisbury, the picture of elegance, to begin her address.
She looks like a frumpier Hillary Clinton. There you go, I said it.
All of our lives changed irrevocably. Still reeling from the triumphs and tribulations of Liberation Night, another great loss befell the people of these newly united territories. The loss of a leader, a statesman, a dear friend, and a hero. Peter Gordon Clement.
Peter's death at the age of just 62, of course, announced by the team on the 24th of December, just 6 weeks after Liberation Night.
Born to a working-class family on a housing estate in Rotherham, Peter first trained as a carpenter before getting his start on television. First moving and building scenery, and then developing into the personality that we all knew and loved so much.
Just the Job first hit our screens over 25 years ago, running for 11 series, winning multiple awards, and charming audiences up and down the country.
Peter taught us, all of us, not to be content with the way things are, not to accept inequities, no matter how small.
Light up a cig.
He also taught us what it took to fight them. Courage, integrity, empathy, and hard, bloody graft.
A Across a career spanning 3 decades, Peter Clement was known for shows including Wake Up, It's Saturday, and much later, late night chat show PT, which at its peak drew millions of viewers.
Peter was by no means a saint. Trust me, he once told me he had more regrets than he'd had stolen dinners. He always did have a knack for a turn of phrase. But it speaks to the strength of his character that he chose to share his mistakes alongside his achievements.
See, I think that one's actually kind of friendly. He's just sitting there having a beer and a smoke. Am I the only one who's got a problem with that? I mean, like...
For the people of these united territories.
Who cares? It's a beer and a smoke.
Famous for his potty mouth, it's estimated conservatively that Peter Clement uttered over 1.5 million swear words during his career, though some sources put this figure well in excess of 2 million F-bombs alone.
Gripped by illness as he was in the weeks and months leading up to Liberation Night, he wasn't the man we loved. But his eyes still twinkled with that familiar joy for life, that spark of wit and wisdom of a life lived for others.
Prime Minister Clement, of course, died from apparent liver failure after suffering from the long-term effects of alcohol abuse.
I first met Peter nearly 20 years ago, moments before I was supposed to give a speech. Not unlike this one, actually. Only I'd spilt coffee all down myself. And I was young, nervous, desperate to be liked. And from behind me, I heard, "Christ, Pet, you've either pissed your kecks or sprung a leak, but either way, you got a problem." And before I could even say a word, he stripped off his dry trousers and insisted I took them.
What's with that two-finger thing? Is that like the middle finger? Is that like, what is that?
Compassionate, sensitive, a brilliant...
Again, is that an English thing that I don't get?
But mostly a good man. This glorious nation of ours, so beautiful and new, this shining beacon of...
Thank you, Alex. There'll be another opportunity to steer public perception soon. It's really starting. You'll know when.
His accomplishments, the future he forged, the boundaries...
I mean, there's...
To me, he'll always be the man in his pants, cheering on a stranger.
Oh, well, like, you really want me to cut to that image? Like, the side of her head? That's really dumb.
To give to you the Peter Clement Memorial Garden.
Frankly, in this one, this is the proper shot. You wouldn't go to this shot. Oops, no, you definitely wouldn't go to that shot. You wouldn't go to this one. Until, like, this very second when she's like, holy shit!
Now, Alex, control the message.
Get you to safety, come with us.
I'm not leaving, I can't! You two, come with me! Don't panic! Help us here, we're gonna help you. We need a medic here!
Well, stop resisting then. Stop resisting and we'll let you up.
I'm not resisting! Ah! Fuck you! Not resisting!
Turn the camera off. National Night News. We have the right to be here. I said...
Keep your eyes open.
Look at me, look at me.
I can't hear you. I can't hear anything.
Just stay with me.
I can't hear you. I'm from the National Nightly News.
Well, we need to consider this payback. Salisbury's still here.
Get her.
Julius Salisbury! You were guilty of the murder of more than 10...
Someone's standing with her fists up. She's about to go fight him. He's got a gun. Pull your gun.
Precious freedom looks like it.
Jesus!
Time has come. Stop fire. Break windows. Draw them out. They can't stop us all. Resist. Distract. Lower your weapons.
Holy shit!
Lower your weapons. Granted. None. It was unnecessary.
Can't you see?
Will you turn that off, please, sir?
No.
Turn it off.
Shocking scene.
Is this not enough? You've just seen them execute unarmed civilians. People like you and me.
Well, I mean, that one guy did have that stick. I mean, technically, he was armed. Just.
Be a part of this. March on team headquarters. Storm the building.
I mean, look, am I saying he needed to be shot? No, I'm just saying technically he was armed.
By now. Don't go away. We'll be back after this.
That didn't go so well, Alex. But we can turn it around in the next segment.
Good distance from the unit base. This is becoming a weekly event.
That one took me a second to figure out what was exactly going on.
This is the big one. Great. So there's a revolution happening outside and we're off to dangle fucking parts. That's journalism, apparently.
We get set for the next sequence.
Sadly, that's true, and I don't live in an authoritarian communist society. I love this guy.
Alex, during this next section, a cameraman working in the newsroom who's one of us is going to get a coded location out. We don't know yet which camera he's on, but if we find out, I'll let you know. Just keep your eyes out for the fist and try and keep it on the air for at least 5 seconds. Our operatives will do the rest.
Megan, this is your new makes, Craig.
No.
What?
No.
10 seconds, everybody. Sorry, Craig. It's a no. Okay, we are going in 5, 4,
Poor Craig.
3.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News with me, Megan Wolfe. Very shortly, we'll be heading on over to the final episode of what has quickly become a hugely successful feature, the Notice Board. But before we do, let's chat with Philippa Radon. Tell me, why do you think the public love the Notice Board so much?
It's real. There I
No, it's not.
It connects with people. You know, people look at us and they say, those are real people struggling with real problems.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying to my PA secretary as I got out the limo, I was saying, it's good for people to see normal, authentic people like them on TV.
Coming from somebody saying, I told my PA secretary as I got out of the limo.
Dreadful wretch who wanted an autograph, but a swift kicking from security soon put him back in line.
Yes, well, I think it's really good that our screens are filled with such relatable stories. So, the Notice Board is coming to an end after a sensational time at the top. What do you think has made this show so successful?
It's a combination of so many things. My hard work, my talent, my look.
Wow, you really have a lot to thank you for.
Hey, hey, hey. You're welcome.
We've just heard our man's on camera 4.
I have a real sense of responsibility now. You know, a sense
Get
of
back to the interview, Alex.
something precious, and that I should use that platform for good.
That's really important. We should use this platform to do good in the world, right?
That's exactly it. So I've decided to help as many other
Excellent work, Alex. That's the location shared. Next, you'll need to give them the go.
Better access to education, or reducing child poverty.
Oh, no, by adopting as many as I can get my hands on.
Oh, okay. How many children have you adopted?
Oh, we're well into the double figures now, Megan. I stopped counting in the late 30s.
Goodness, that is a lot of children.
Yeah, once we finish putting them into the guest room, I'll have to put a futon in the laundry cupboard.
Oh, you really are some sort of hero.
Hey, I live a privileged life. What can I say? I mean, any child I can take on is a child rescued from suffering.
Poor children. Were their lives really that bad before?
Oh, they're Northerns, I presume so.
Okay.
Yeah, it's shocking to think, actually, that only 1 in 10,000 children have a celebrity parent.
I'd never thought of it that way before.
And I'm doing everything I can to fix those numbers.
What do you think it is about your life that's so desirable, then?
Well, it's mainly shame and panic interspersed with expensive bottled water, so actually, if anyone wants to, I'd happily trade.
Now that I can relate to. Right, you better go off and get ready. That was Philippa Radin sharing some thoughts about her lifestyle. I think it's really important to stay grounded and keep everything in perspective. Clearly, not everyone else agrees, but that's enough. Let's go now over to Dangly Parts for the final ever episode of the Notice Board.
What a day! First the tea morning, and now to post this notice. I don't know how I managed to cope with it all. Oh wait, perhaps I do.
Dude, that is an awesome flask.
Oh! By St. Barnabas, what on earth is all this?
Freeze, dirtbag!
Oh, Laura, it's you. I thought for a moment you were a knife-wielding mugger or stabber.
No.
Or stabber.
It's just me, a community cohesion officer, responsible for keeping crime at record lows.
Of course, keep forgetting that thanks to you and your colleagues, violence on our streets is a thing of the past.
What's all this, Vicar?
I know, it's a disgrace.
It's time for the go code. Give us 3 boos in a row, Alex. That will start the pincer movement. You might just pull this off. Push forwards! 3 boos, Alex.
Careful, Vicar. It looks heavy.
Ha! They don't call me the Right Reverend. Ripped for no reason.
Yes!
It's no good.
It looks like all those crucifix classes were a waste of time.
Is that offensive? I don't know. I'm not religious.
Fantastic.
Looks like all those lifting classes were a waste of time.
It's too heavy, even for me. A strong and capable
You did it, Alex. We're good to go.
strong enough to lift this.
Did someone call for the best firefighter in town?
Oh, God.
Hi-ya!
Well done, Captain Evans. You're so much stronger than us.
Especially me, the weak old man.
It's the least I could do for my community.
No luck catching the little devil then?
Unfortunately not. The ferret struck again last night. When Ray opened the post office this morning, he found...
Keep expecting to look out there and seeing explosions.
My God! Some people have no decency.
Sadly, if we don't catch him before tomorrow, we may have to cancel the village fete.
Don't worry. We won't let that happen. Will we, Vicar?
No, no, no. Laura, tell me, why do they call him the ferret?
Some say it's because of his sneaky nature. But really it's because whenever he strikes, he always leaves behind the foul stench of urine.
My mom's a kindergarten teacher. I've seen the the educational videos that she's shown to children before.
Captain Danger Evans.
And those have better acting than this.
Their best, but they simply don't have the...
Before anybody says, yes, I understand it's supposed to be really cringy.
Someone who's about to blow this thing wide open. Me! Blackout!
Ah, it's the morning of the village fete. It's thanks to theatrical convention.
I sure hope everything goes to plan. Oh, look! There's Mrs. Craven setting up her cake stall.
And look, there's the motorcycle display team setting up for a show that would be far too expensive for live television.
I'm going to set up the coconut shy. What are you doing?
You know what? It's oddly what's the term? Self-deprecative? I'm trying to think of the word while I'm also trying to control everything.
Possibly.
Well, that sounded like Mrs. Craven. Looks like someone sucked all the jam out of her donuts.
That damn ferret has struck again!
Whatever are we to do?
Although I'm very competent, I have no idea how to solve.
See, this whole, like, you have to change the thing every, like, couple seconds. God, it would...
Hold it right there!
It would give me whiplash. Like, it would hurt my eyes.
Have you been drinking from the fire extinguishers again?
Not you!
Wait, that means you would have been doing it once before.
You wanted the village fete cancelled so you could have the day off, didn't you?
I already have to work Sundays. I shouldn't have to work 2 days a week.
That's true.
But how did you know?
Well, my first clue was the smell.
Yes, I do smell of urine.
Next, I noticed that the vicar's tongue was particularly dry, almost as if he'd been licking thousands and thousands of stamps.
Or perhaps eating Mrs. Craven's baking.
Which brings me on to my third clue. The vicar said that he had no more room for jam.
Almost as if he'd had his fill.
Precisely.
But you managed to figure it all out from that?
Well, I also found this at the scene.
That proves nothing. No!
Get him out of here!
It's kind of...
You did it.
It's cute.
You could say you ferreted him out.
Hey, come on. Let's go and have a party in my massive...
My brain broke a little bit from that cringe.
Thanks to you, we're all doing well. That was it, the final ever episode of the Notice Board, and what a way to end it. Thank you as always to Jeff, Philippa and Tommy. After the break, we'll be both dancing and learning, so don't change that channel. We'll be right back.
That's the ads. Well done, everybody.
Wow! What a brilliant run, eh? After party at my place, eh?
What advert is this, Alex? I don't remember passing it for broadcast. I think you made a mistake there.
I've got 4 kinds of sausage! Hey, you! You coming to the after party?
And how progressive their policies are.
Oh,
well, I was wrong. And I'm here tonight to say I'm sorry.
One last push, Alex. We're closing in.
Bullshit.
The guest in the last section is working with us. You'll be asked to censor on our behalf. If you do it right, the final orders will be given. You'll get 3 chances. Get at least 2 of them right, and we're gonna win this thing. It's happening, Alex. Tonight we take it back.
I always envied my friends.
I really hope this goes fast, because I really need to pee.
My jealousy grew. So when Advance came to power, I didn't think about the damage they would do. I acted selfishly. I was glad to see the rich punished. I didn't see how backwards Advance were. I didn't understand that rather than tearing down the wealth creators, we should have been helping everyone else to take a seat at their table.
Took care of my problem.
The country is poor. It is poorer in ambition. It is poorer in aspiration. We are infantilized by Advance's naive policies.
And no, for the blind, no, I did not just piss myself.
Hi, I'm Maddie.
I ran and used the bathroom. Holy shit, cat, get off my computer.
She?
Especially while it's on.
That's my shade, is it?
Yeah.
This is my shade. I see that now. Dad. I'm back to Jenny now. Our only hope.
Awesome.
Sorry about that, Sarah. Nothing you can tell me. At all, like at all.
They said no one's died, that's all I can say.
10 seconds.
What's wrong with you?
She is in tears.
Ugh.
Going in 5, 4, 3,
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Later in this segment, we're hoping to be able to go back to Patrick Bannon at the scene of tonight's shocking disrupt attack. But first, I'm delighted to be joined by the cast of the smash hit musical everyone is talking about. I'll be speaking with the cast in a moment, but first, let's take a look at them in action. Please give a warm National Nightly welcome to the Novaries.
The what?
Hello? Doctor? Yes, I see. Thank you for letting me know. I have a decent life. I'm a happy, loving wife. And my job is well paid and fulfilling. I have a husband, John. He's due home soon, won't be long. And I have to tell him something that is absolutely chilling. We share coffee in the morning, and we make love every day. We take time alone together to talk and laugh and play. We prioritize our needs. We do charitable deeds. But the flowers of a happy life are now beset by weeds.
I'm home.
Oh, darling John.
Oh, dearest John.
There's something very wrong. I've just had a conversation with our doctor, David Wong, so please be seated. This news will make you feel defeated. The scans revealed a lump.
You poor unlucky chump. Is it
Worse, oh, John. We're having a baby.
Wait, what?
How can this be?
Oh, woe is me.
Why has this happened to me? I always wear 2 condoms for the maximum of
Safety in our time.
Gross.
We built a peaceful habitat. Now our lives are fucked. We're having a baby. Now you can't have any wine at book club.
And there won't be any time for foot rubs.
Now your hair will stink of weed.
And you'll start to disagree.
And forget about that holiday.
I don't know which one I'm clicking on. I'm just clicking on everything.
Waking up at 10:30. In fact, you're never going to get a good night's sleep again. No more snap decisions to go on to a club. You'll be lucky if you even make it out to the pub. Why can't we be more like our gay and lesbian chums?
They have to deal with comes from personal bums.
Now when I take a sick day at home,
The parasite won't leave you alone.
how he's grown.
We're our top priority.
I look after you, and you look after me. Ain't no trouble and strife. We got a childless life. No one wails and no one bawls. No one draws things on the walls.
A happy husband.
A wonderful wife. We got a childless life. We're having a baby. We're
You know what? This one's actually kind of catchy.
changing nappies daily. We're having a baby. No more weekends by the coast. Now your kid is uppermost. It's more than a passing craze to have childless days.
We're having a baby.
Food and drink thrown everywhere. Death trap toys at the top of the stairs. Every parent prays to have childless days.
We're having a baby.
No more spas and no more. We're having a baby. 18 years on bills at least. Time for a whole new phase.
We're having a baby.
One more thing before the show begins. Have you considered that you might be having twins?
That's right.
Amazing. The Novaries there, treating us to their
That's what I thought she said the first time.
First Life, which is currently the hottest ticket in the capital theatre district, and will be touring the territories later this year. Then come on, you guys, come on down, let's go, don't be shy. Hello. Hi, Megan. Hi. It's an honour to be here. Oh, really? Are you fans of the show? Yeah, it used to be. Well, listen, let's get stuck in. Your amazing musical. Now, I mean, not only do you perform this show every single night,
with matinees on Wednesday and Saturday.
Right, but you're also the show's creators, am I right?
Well, everyone contributed their ideas, and then some of us went away and did the actual work on the script. But no, it's very much a team effort.
Oh, that's fantastic. How rude of me. I've not introduced any of you. I'll be the one being replaced next. Let's go down the line.
Don't joke about that.
Hi, I'm Jack.
Jim Blunt. Pleasure to be here.
Jennifer Boren Woodley.
I think he's our inside man.
Used to be in the business professionally.
My name's Jill, with a J.
And I'm Janet.
As opposed to what?
Incredible. And you were all friends previously. I mean, what a coincidence, right? With your names beginning with a J.
Oh my goodness, guys! Our names all begin with J.
How have we never noticed that?
Oh my God, get in the pit.
You knew? Why didn't you say anything?
I thought we all knew. It's bloody obvious, isn't it? I just thought we were doing a funny thing where we never mentioned it. And I believe as well as being friends, you're also couples. In real life as well as in the show.
Well, well, not exactly.
No. I'm not married to him. I'm with Janet.
And I'm with John, you lucky bean.
Yeah, I had a very strong feeling.
4 fabulous years.
Well, that must make for some confusion in the rehearsal room.
Well, you should have seen the first draft. Jen decided that Jack would play Jim, I would play Jack, Jen Janet, Jill Jen, Janet Jill.
What about John?
Well, my character was originally just called Man 1.
It was allegorical. It was very confusing.
Not for a professional.
After much toing and froing.
And gnashing and wailing.
And gin and tonic.
We decided that we'd just use our own names, which is less truthful.
We're also less likely to go into the wrong dressing rooms.
Oh God, yeah, that would be very embarrassing, wouldn't it?
Of course, when I first wrote it, we were only meant to run for a few nights at the Mimler Village Hall, but when I registered it with the Department for Culture, it caught the eye of someone high up, and before you could say overnight sensation, we were transferring to the capital. It's all been a bit of a roller coaster, really. I'm only 19. I'm the youngest.
Oh my God, get in the pit.
I had to give up my job as a mortuary technician.
Well, yes, we all had to move to the capital.
He does not seem happy about that.
So peaceful, no singing.
This piece isn't.
Stand by, Alex. Censor the orange.
It's about children and why you shouldn't have them.
In a way, I guess it is political, with a small p. After all, we are a solid unit, and eagle-eyed audience members will see we nod our heads to advance on stage throughout, and we target the messaging at women aged 22, well, about 35, as they're the most likely to be afflicted by this terrible problem. Terrible problem.
Having children.
You understand, Megan.
You clearly agree.
This isn't about me. Of course, we see that there are advantages to a family unit, but eagle-eyed couples watch as the little parasites advance on their lives. And there's no time to play the guitar, get through a book, or watch a movie. They're exhausted, passed out on the couch by 20 to 9, for God's sake.
We're very chatty tonight, dear.
Usually I'm the chatty one, because you're...
I'm the youngest.
It's not a badge of honour, Janet.
Janet, please, Jennifer. Oh, well said, John. Thanks, Jack. Got your back.
So could you just tell us what is the play about? What happens in it?
Well,
go ahead.
It's a
Well, is that musical number not enough to understand?
Jennifer, myself, and John have their child, and then the story charts the downfall of their hopes and dreams.
Oh, that's
I'm dancing.
a happy story.
My character works at a menu centre for a distribution unit. Eagle-eyed, she sees her friend's rapid advance to a pit of despair. Becoming a target for children's TV advertising at the age of 22, she decides to take drastic action. I can't really say more, though. I probably said too much already.
Let's not spoil the second act for anyone who might come to see it.
Which should be all of you. For too long, we've been told that a life without children is somehow incomplete, that children are a blessing. Well,
Yeah.
and they're not.
Okay.
Already loads of bastards running around all over the place, so...
We just want people to have the option of a happy, child-free life without stigma. You know, when I was 14, before I had come out, I had an experience with a girl called Julia Jacobs. She was an experiment, I guess, you know, a chance to...
What am I getting negatives on?
Meeting. Well, thank you all so much for coming in tonight. I really hope you keep them dancing in the aisles for many performances to come. The Nobles there. And I am pleased to say we can now go back to Patrick Bannon to get the latest from the scene of tonight's horrific events. Patrick, you okay?
Thank you, Megan. This is Patrick Bannon reporting from
Sure you are.
tonight's devastating and symbolic attack tonight this evening. An attack which I myself have found myself caught up in. I'm still a little dazed and a little deaf, Megan. So I hope you'll forgive me if I seem that it's time to speak with the Prime Minister. Mrs. Salisbury, that's you. You're still here. The Prime Minister.
I couldn't leave, not when there were people that needed help. Any team player would have done the same. I don't deserve praise for being human.
Yes, no accolades here. Or Palisades. Or lemonade. Right. So, is the situation... Now, are we safe?
Yes.
Well, I mean, you've got the guys in the black suits and the guns behind you, so yeah, you're safe.
I'd like to assure the public that although there have been some injuries, there were no civilian deaths here this evening.
Oh, that's good news about the Sorry, did you say no deaths?
That's right. No civilian deaths. Just the 4 disrupt terrorists curtailed by law enforcement who were, as always, so cohesive. If I may, I have a message for your viewers.
Oh, of course. The camera... There's the... Speak there, on the camera there.
Stay at home tonight. Do not become another casualty of war. Disrupt have had their moment, but, as the dear departed Peter Clements once famously said, it ends today.
Thank you,
Okay.
Minister, for those strong words of strength. Back to the studio. Megan, now in the studio with Megan Wolfe now.
Patrick Bannon there, bravely reporting from the front line of tonight's horrifying bombing. Maybe you need to get checked out, Patrick. Well, that brings us to the end of tonight's National Nightly News, but before we go, tonight's National Nightly News.
Victory is in sight, my friends. You have mobilized. You have come together. From our agents at the television networks risking arrest and getting those words to you, to the many hundreds and thousands gathering to invade team headquarters. As I speak, we are turning the tide, and it is time for change.
You know, this has taken a turn that I did not expect.
Mouthpiece. Channel 1. Time to wake up.
Out from the shadows, and they are not the overwhelming force they would have you believe. The military have been actioned, and well, it's pretty scary out there tonight, so stay at home and stay with Channel 1. Because the team has assured this programme that the turbulence will soon be over and we can once again focus our minds on building the new future with equality, fairness and resources for all. My name is Megan Wolfe. Let's make tomorrow better.
Damn it, Alex. Tonight is the beginning of the fall of advance. Fighter jet, 11 o'clock. Charges brig, sir. Permission to detonate. Permission granted, old friend. We are going to detonate. Look out your window, Alex. See what you helped make happen.
Wonderful. Just wonderful. Yup. All right, full wages. Oh shit. Nah. I forgot to read the stuff.